Alright, so let's unpause this. Oh, well, let me start. Welcome back to another video. This is a paid request from Lucas, and I'll explain what the hell I was babbling about 15 seconds ago. So this is a request, as you see, for Ice Age, the first film. Now, I had started doing this, but it was very late at night at like 1 in the morning because a neighbor nearby was having their music blaring at 1:30 in the morning. I could not sleep. People go, why you go over? Because, I mean, it may be middle of nowhere, but there's trailers and other stuff, scattered around. And I'm sitting there going, well, it's Texas. I don't want to go knock on a door and get my head blown off. Plus, sadly, as I'm recording, there's that thing that happened when Rob Reiner had been killed and his wife. Apparently, this is speculation, apparently his son did it, who was a known drug addict and was homeless at one point. I mean, maybe more details will come forward. That's why I haven't done any videos or stuff on it, because I want to know if I do. I don't really like doing those type of videos, but if I did, I want to have as much info as possible. But anyway, so I recorded about 34 minutes, but I was so tired. I'm like, I'll pick it up, and I was just going to start here. But I'm like, you know what? Let me just start from the beginnings, because I have a little bit more energy, and I'll just start the whole commentary over. Yeah, it's a bit dark. It's 2 p.m. on this day. But I don't need the light on, and just the more lights on, the more the light bulb goes out there. I gotta go buy light bulbs. The light bulbs are fucking expensive. I mean, it's just a commentary. You don't need to see my face in HDDD quality. It's not like this is Blade Runner 2049 or something. But anyway, thank you, Lucas, for the request. I rambled for 2 minutes. If anyone wants to request any other type of videos, reviews, re-reviews, random thought streams, commentaries, video game playthroughs, topics, live streams, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. I'm pausing at the beginning. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. For 1, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4. And here we have the 20th Century Fox logo, which I always say, it's a shame that they went down the toilet to the point they got bought out by Disney. I would rather have them be a separate studio, but it is what it is. Now Disney will take properties and milk it dry. Like any other company, especially nowadays, movie theaters are floundering so much, box office is down so much, that they're going to try to take every IP they can and milk it till even no drips drop out. Hell, they're doing another Ice Age. Isn't this Ice Age 6 coming up? Because I like this one. This is a fun one. The second one I don't mind. The third one I actually thought was better than the second one. The fourth one and the fifth one I thought really, like, 4 I did not like, and the fifth one I think I said it was worse. I say I think because I barely remember them, but I think the fifth one was the worst one I saw. So I have no hope for Ice Age 6. Probably be like 6 and another 6. Because I don't know why we need... But, I mean, it's because they're desperate for money. And a lot of these films have made a lot of money. This made... They cost 60-some million. It made at least 300 million worldwide, at least. And I think part 2 and 3 did fairly well. I think the fourth one, I mean, they did very well. For this, and the studio... I mean, Fox released it, but another studio was behind it, and then Fox let them release it. Release it through our company. But I don't think that studio is around anymore. And of course, this whole opening is Strat. And, I mean, his character is fun throughout these films, showcasing that physical comedy, showcasing comedy without dialogue. And also the fact that, in a way, he causes all of these big supreme events that changes the course of geography and history, and all because this guy wants his acorn. I think there was a Strat movie. I mean, it might have been like a short film. I don't know. Dude, I don't think I ever saw it. But I mean, it's definitely fun for the kids. And even, me watching it again, I would say physical comedy is an element of comedy I grew up with and enjoy because as a kid I would watch The Three Stooges, I would watch Jim Varney as Ernest P. Worrell, and Ernest Saves Christmas, and Ernest goes steered stupid, and Ernest goes to jail. And even Ace Ventura Pet Detective, like that physical comedy was very funny to me and got a kick out of. That's actually pretty vicious. Like, he really does look like he's dead, and he just skid in the damn squirrel across the road, and just the death twitch. That's what it seems like. But he does survive, of course. Now, this is 2002, so as you can see, the visuals are not as detailed in the background, I would say. Like the ice and stuff in the back there, if it was done today, it'd definitely be a bit more detail. You probably see a lot more of the hair, like fine bits of hair and stuff on these animals. While here they look... Because even elephants, there would be puffs of hair and stuff. Faint. But here, it'll look a lot more smoother. But I still like the look of it from 2002. I still think it looks nice. And here have our main character, Ray Romano, who's going the other way because he pretty much has a death wish. He doesn't really care about whether he lives or dies because of the events that's caused him this mental state. And that's the arc of the movie. One of the arcs is that he will eventually find a family of his own. And now here we have Sid the Sloth, voiced by John Leguizamo, which I've liked him in a number of films. Super Mario Brothers, for one. I know a lot of people hate that film. Don't like him in The Pest. I thought that was annoying. Good in John Wick. Bit role in John Wick 2, but then never came back for the other John Wicks. 3 or 4. I mean, I don't know if we needed shit humor within the first 10 minutes, but here it is. These two are very, very giddy about some plans. You should just eat it down. This is why you shouldn't be taking your fucking time. And then they're just watching this guy. Like, they have the time to push him away. They have the time to nudge him away. They're just watching him. Like, say something, do something. You just let them do it. And that's what you're trying to find out with each of these characters is that each one have their own little story. Diego, he's part of a pack, but he has a little bit more heart than the others. And especially during the trip where his alliance has changed. Sid Pretty much find out he's been abandoned by his family because they thought he was too annoying, too klutzy, too clumsy. So he has no sense of where to belong. And then Manny, the mammoth, his family was killed. Which I thought was a nice, heartfelt. Heartfelt. I mean, heartfelt's the wrong word to put it, but it definitely gives a bit of a emotional core to the film when we see those cave paintings come to life. But that's much later in the film. But I think the studio behind this, they did, I think Rio. Can't remember what else. I'd have to look at the credits and stuff. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, you could Wikipedia, wherever, you could look at the credits too. Yeah, you can't really do something to a guy who's not afraid of anything else. But there you go, stands his ground. There you go, shows you don't fuck with Manny. Fucking pushes them both off at the same time. Flings this guy. Flings like a bad habit. I thought that was interesting, that point of view shot. They do the reveal that he's in the air. So I like that. Like, you have to have the characters go down to get farther away from the rest of the pack, but you want to make Manny strong, so have them beat their ass. But because of the nature of this clumsy oaf, they go down, slide down anyway. Which, I mean, we saw the cliff. It looked like it was all the way down. It did not look like this. So it's where they go off the cliff, where the one shot we saw all the way down. Where the fuck did all this come from? Like, see how far down? Like, you just go down, but yet when they were there, it's like this slant. I mean, I don't know. I'm confused. How does one equal the other? But, you know, it is what it is. Now, of course, we have our buddy team at the moment, and it'll be decently soon where we'll have our third party of the group. Diego, played by Dennis Leary. Sabretooth. That Dennis Leary I liked as an actor. Okay, well, Ray Romano, I didn't watch a lot of Everybody Loves Raymond. I've seen a few episodes. I've actually reviewed a few episodes on the channel, and the ones I've seen I liked. I would like to go back and rewatch season 1, season 2. I don't know, I don't remember how many seasons it was on, but it was a fairly successful show. And the stuff I saw, they had good chemistry between the characters, especially between Ray and the guy who plays his brother. Ray Romano has an affable, likable personality, and when that show ended, he tried to get into films. He didn't do a whole lot of films. He did that Welcome to Mooseport with Gene Hackman. That did not do well at all. That might have been the last film Gene Hackman was in. Which, I mean, it's not a good movie, but it's not like the worst movie ever. But I don't think it's good. He did a few other films, Drilled, I believe, with Kevin James, and I think there was one movie that dealt with a funeral. I can't remember what it was called. But yeah, you really haven't seen him do much except these. But I mean, I'm sure these, obviously when they do sequels, more than likely their agents talk to the studios and help them get a pretty, good payday or a slice of the profits. Whichever the deal they feel works better. I don't know what deal they have with these. I guarantee you, John Leguizamo, Dennis Leary, they don't. And that's the thing, when you add more people and you want to bring more people back, then they all want to raise. So then it makes the budgets more costly. But this is my favorite of all of them because I liked there was just the three of them. It's these two for now. Then when Dennis Leary, like the three, I think that dynamic works the best. With sequels, they start adding more and more and more. So Sid, has the grandma, and then you have Ray Romano gets a girlfriend, and it's Queen Latifah. Dennis Leary gets a girlfriend, and I think it was Jennifer Lopez, I think, and then they have a daughter, and then the daughter has a boyfriend, and then when Ice Age 3, they have the... I didn't mind him, the guy who was the adventurer that helped him along. I think Simon Pegg voiced him, I think. Don't quote me on that. And some of them are, like, he was a fun character, but I mean, do I care a whole lot about Queen Latifah? Her character, I mean, she is what she is, character-wise, acting-wise, but it's not my desired camaraderie. It's these three guys. Or soon-to-be three guys. And then John Leguizamo, he's worked with a lot of... I mean, he worked with Kurt Russell in Executive Decision. He worked with Gerard Butler in Gamer. He worked with Arnold Schwarzenegger in Collateral Damage. He had a bit part in Die Hard 2. He was on the bad guy team, and he didn't really have much. I mean, you see him brief bits. Of course, Executive Decision had Kurt Russell and Steven Seagal. So, I mean, technically, that means he's been in a film with Bruce Willis, been in a film with Keanu Reeves, been in a film with Steven Seagal, Kurt Russell, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Gerard Butler. I don't think he did one with Stallone. Sylvester Stallone. I don't think he did. But he's done with a lot of other action stars. No, just interesting. Just like it's interesting, we see this human village encampment, or the remains of it. Yeah, I think a battle happens, and yeah, they don't try to take the baby. It's weird they don't let the wolves out. Just have the wolves try to battle a Sabretooth. It's also weird that, forgive me if I'm wrong, but none of the other Ice Age films, they deal with humans. Like, we don't see humans, we don't have them interact with humans. At least as far as I remember, it made it seem as if humans don't exist anymore. And I'm like, that's just kind of strange because of how prominent it is in this one. I don't know if they don't want to go into the whole hunter-prey with the humans, because they hunt, animals for food, to eat. But then, I don't know. Maybe they just figure we did in the first film, we don't need to do anymore. I don't know. But I'm surprised they don't have this kid grown up and seeing these characters again. If they don't do that in this new one, I will be very surprised. I would be very surprised. Because, like, this baby, obviously, time has passed, and by this point, I mean, 2002, there would be, an adult. They'd be the age of the mother and father in this. Oh, now the wolves are getting in on it, on the action. But, yeah, if this new one doesn't have that character grown up and meeting them again, then I will be very surprised. I'd be very... That just seems like something they would naturally do, but who knows? So we have our main villain who's much more aggressive and assertive, and I think, yeah, Jack Black is one of the Sabretooth. Not him, but the more comedic relief one. We will hear more from him later, though. And Jack Black, I mean, I liked him in Tropic Thunder. I liked him in School Rock is okay. Nacho Libre I actually like. He's in that awful looking that Anaconda movie. That's fucking garbage, but anyway. But yeah, this is, I believe, when they're gonna eventually see the baby and the mom. And of all the Ice Age ones, this one felt like the one that had the most heart and the most kind of, I mean, it's weird to say serious story, but it's weird to say if it felt like it had a real story. I don't know if that makes sense. Like this here, where no dialogue is needed. There's a mom with her kid. There's a nice piece of storytelling to showcase it all without dialogue. You see the kind of fearful of what's going on, wonderment in Ray Romano, his character's eyes, and then this kid here. They realize what it is, they're wondering what to do, and then the mom is gone. And we figured out what had happened. We could figure it out and not be led by the hand. We could figure that she, drifted away and died. Get some nice little serious moments here throughout this picture. I don't know why I just had the thought of 3 Men and a Baby. I guess because eventually when Diego comes on, there are three individuals and they gotta take care of a baby that's not their own. Well, I guess technically it's Ted Danson's kid. But well, I mean, he's at least Sid is stubborn. He's trying the best he can. Come on, do a little bit of Gabe. Be a little bit of Cliffhanger, man. Stallone and Cliffhanger, or maybe some Tom Cruise Mission Impossible 2 shit. Come on, man. Yeah, that's using your head. But yeah, I can't remember like all the films that came out in 2002. I'd have to look at a list among other stuff, and I just have to look at my phone. Why not for info? Good catch with your foot. I think Dennis Leary does a good job as a character, and again, they all have their little arcs throughout. I mean, maybe not so much Sid. I wouldn't say he has an arc, but in a way, they're all alone in their different ways, and then they come together as a family at the end. With this one goal, at first for different reasons, but there's one goal eventually to take care of this kid. Sid just wants to protect the kid, do the right thing. Diego wants to bring the kid to his pack. And then Manny kind of just wants to get stuff done to go on his, I guess in a way to just, his death wish, his death sentence, however you want to put it. But Dennis Leary, I've always liked him since Demolition Man. I liked him in that movie. I liked him in The Ref. His stand up, although I know some people say his stand up had. Some people said he stole stuff. I don't know how much of that is true or not. I never saw his TV show Rescue Me. I've heard of it with the firefighters, but I never saw Rescue Me. I know it lasted a couple seasons at least. But yeah, Dennis Leary, I always liked him. What are you, Sideshow Bob, stepping on rates and shit? Come on, Sid. I'm just looking up Ice Age. So the second film was 2006, third one 2009, fourth one 2012, fifth one 2016, and I think the new one's coming out 2027. I think it was supposed to be 2026 because it would have been 10 years after the fifth one, but I think they got delayed to 2027. So this just a 7.5 on IMDb, which makes I do think this has the better story. And again, because just the three of them, and you're just going back between the three, the pacing just feels a bit tighter. Just when you have more characters, you gotta put time into this, you gotta put time into this, but you gotta try to put time on everybody. So some people will feel left out or not get as much time as you think they would have or you want them to have. And that's the danger of having too many characters in one film. It's, well, how can you give all of them equal time? Kind of hard not. I mean, it's kind of hard to do that. But yeah, Blue Sky Studios were produced and distributed by Fox. But this is directed by Chris Wedge. He was the lead animator on Tron, the original Tron. He was the lead animator on that. He directed Robots. He directed Epic, Monster Trucks. Forgot about that movie. And then, yeah, executive producer on stuff. Ice Age sequels. $383 million worldwide this made. It says it was pitched to Fox in 1997. It was going to be a 2D animated film. And Don Bluth was going to have a part in it. Or at least their studio, I should say. Let's see. Sorry, just looking through what we got here. Strat's opening adventure was inserted at the beginning. Just without it, the first real snow and ice scene would be 37 minutes in. That was the only role intended for Strat, but he proved to be such a popular character with test audiences that he was given more scenes. Okay, so it was only one scene he was supposed to be in, but the audience liked it, so they gave him more. Dennis Leary said that his character was supposed to die at the end, but test audiences, the kids, burst into tears when his death was shown. The scene was rewritten, and Diego survived. Yeah, peekaboo in the wrong way. Here we have here. Oh, and Sid was supposed to be more of a con artist type of character, but they dumbed him down a bit. And the idea is they wanted people like James Earl Jones or Ving Rhames for the Mammoth role, and Albert Brooks, but then eventually they got it to Ray Romano, which worked out because I thought Ray did a pretty good job with it. Again, I thought he did a pretty good job. At least to me. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing with these animated films. Sometimes you can't really find the most in depth info simply because a lot of times these movies get DVDs or Blu rays, and then the features aren't much. I guess they assume, well, kids don't want to see that, but parents are buying these, and maybe the parents want to see it. Maybe the parents are a fan. And also, eventually, these kids will grow up. So if they liked your film and grow up with your film, then eventually they can look back on the DVD or and such and say, oh, how was this film made? So it'll be there for them in the future for them to appreciate it. But, because here we have the dodos and showcasing how the dodos became extinct, which I thought was kind of funny. Essentially, like, this is how they got extinct, for being the dumbest fucking things around. Say Lemmings. There was a video game called Lemmings where pretty much they just follow where you. If you went off a cliff, they'd go off a cliff with you. I never actually played it, but I've seen people play it back in the day. I remember this being a funny bit where they show the slow-mo football, like it's the big game, and the music rises up, and again the slow-mo builds more and more, and the little kids like, yeah, dude. The music I just picture is a do 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 ba da 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 da. And the kid's cute. She doesn't want to look because she's afraid, and yay, her friend made it. And even the others are happy. And of course, he has to fuck it up, right? Right about here. But it still worked out. The kid's eating it, so it worked out. You needed to open it anyway. That's the thing. Like, Sid didn't really fuck up because you needed to open up that thing anyway, so. Poor dodos. Too fucking stupid. Get a little bit of Karate Kid crane kick pose there. With that little bit crane kick. But I put my phone away because I don't want to be looking at the phone again and again. Not pay attention to this. Any other info? I mean, I'm sure there's stuff on IMDb trivia and oh well. I think this is where Sid tries to sleep on a rock, and I'm like, better man than or better thing than me, because I would not be able to sleep on anything like a rock. I'm very, very picky. I'm picky with my food. I'm picky with my sleeping habits. It's like I want to be, comfortable in the bed. I need the mattress to be soft and nice enough. I need the fan on to drown out any noise. And also the consistent hum of the fan can lull me to sleep. That's why like it's hard for me to sleep at like a hotel. The few times I've been at a hotel, it's hard for me to sleep. Like the beds to be fun, kind of comfy, sure, but then it's like I need like a fan. I need something because if when it's so quiet, I can't. I like hear. Even though I have like one good ear, I still hear the noises and stuff, and it's like what. I do like that detail, the eyes glimmering. I think that's a cool little detail there. Did you see how protective he is? Here we have the Jack Black character. Yeah, sorry I'm being silent because there's not much to say in this scene. Pretty much Diego telling him to piss off, and he's got a plan when maybe deep down you know, he's not as evil as, or whatever the case may be compared to other people. I'm wondering where the hell he found these other two. These other two were just, where the hell, like, why are these two out in the middle of nowhere? Number one. And why does the one on the left pretty much have, like, tits? That's what, I mean, that's what they are, is tits. I think for a second I'm like, is this like a dream scene he's having? Like, where the fuck did these two girls come from? I think there was a joke like, let's take a swim in the DNA pool or something. Like, something to really allude more to sex. They took that out for the rating. Because I think this is rated PG. I'm saying, yeah, he's ugly, but it's nice to see someone who actually cares about their kids. You know? Come on, don't be a cop blocker. He wants to do his threesome on. Sid wants the threesome. You're cop blocking him. He's like, at least give me, an hour. And these two followed him the whole damn time. They definitely did a good job of making the kid cute. Again, this is 2002, so I wonder if They would make him like still cute in the design, so his face is much more rounded and smooth and such. But you look at that HUD that he gave to the Manny, the trunk. More than likely, he had that kind of HUD to with his own kid. And that's the thing. Like this kid reminds me of the kid that he had that died. He loved someone before, so it's hard for him to meet someone again until Queen Latifah. If something smells that bad, it must be dead. But yeah, this movie, I mean, oh my god, I forgot. I was going to look at what came out in 2002. Films of 2002. Just to see, like, what were the top films of 2002 when this came out. This is a funny bit where just how serious those two are when they're fighting back and forth. How playful it is and the timing. It's like just to see like how serious the kid is and trying to fight, and I don't know, just something about the way that looks, the timing of it between Sid and the kid, them fighting back and forth. Thought that was well animated. That was a funny bit. Of course, Stonehenge. So the top 10 films of 2002 was number 1, Spider-Man. Number 2, Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. Number 3, Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones. Number 4, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Number 5, My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Number 6, Signs. Number 7, Austin Powers and Goldmember. So the third one. Number 8, Men in Black 2. Number 9, Ice Age with 176 million in the U.S. And number 10, Chicago, the musical. So it was the second Fox film behind Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones to get the top 10. Other films that came out in 2002 were films like Halloween Resurrection, Trick or Treat, Motherfucker, Reign of Fire, with Matthew McConaughey fighting dragons, one with Christian Bale, Eight-Legged Freaks with David Arquette, Stuart Little 2, Spy Kids 2, Triple X, the Vin Diesel film, Simone, which actually Simone, if you look at that movie, it's very ahead of its time because it's about an AI actress, and they made an AI actress. So like Simone is one of those movies that Al Pacino, I liked it. It's not like a masterpiece or great, but I liked it. That's a film that deserves a bit of recognition nowadays. little bit of reappraisal, perhaps, just for what it kind of predicted. Red Dragon, Ghost Ship, Jackass the movie, The Santa Claus 2, 8 Mile with Eminem, Die Another Day, the James Bond. Last one Pierce Brosnan was in. Treasure Planet, that was a flop. Star Trek Nemesis with, yeah, Tom Hardy was the villain. Gangs of New York, among many others. So. I'm just looking. I'm just looking to see if there's any. Well, again. So we had the little bit of avalanche, and now they're going through this cave system with all the ice. I do like this environment. I know there's some interesting, not just reflections, but stuff that's hidden behind the ice, stuff that's been stuck and frozen in the ice. Again, I'm sure if this was done today, there'd be a lot more detail and lighting on this ice. It's funny, you see this stuff in the ice, and these are like the ideas that they get for later films. So, for example, not this specific, but we saw like little creature that's frozen, and that's like those creatures are trying to grab and kill them in the water. What was it, Ice Age 4 or so? The dinosaurs, that'd be incorporated more in Ice Age 3. The flying saucer, that was. They didn't. Wasn't in the last one? Strat was in a flying saucer. Was that Ice Age 4 or 5? I have to look that up now. I want to say it was Ice Age 5. Collision Course. Yeah. Strat crashes onto Mars, annihilates all life before returning to his ship and fleeing back to Earth. So that was Ice Age 5. So yeah. So I mean, it seems like they just looked at that one scene and said, "Well, we don't need dinosaurs, so put that in the third film. We have some sea creatures, so they're floating on the water, and then we have creatures in the water. Okay, a flying saucer, UFO, let's pay that off, and we have a flying saucer in the fifth one that Strat deals with." So, as I said, this one just, in a weird way, I felt this was a one and done story. Again, I don't mind Age 2 and 3, but here, it's these three guys, these three on their adventures, the mishaps here. Like, this is, I would say, one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I love how they make it like a sports competition here, like bobsled or something, like something you see at the Olympics. That each one is in their own lane. I like that, it's these three characters alone on this mission. Not all this extra fluff, extra characters that some of them have like nothing to do. Funny to see a fairly out of character moment for Diego, but it shows a little bit of his true colors. I didn't mention it, but I thought that was cute where the little kid sees the UFO and does the Star Trek Vulcan salute. How the kid would know that to do that, I don't know. They just did that for a joke, but still funny, still cute. Now we have the cave drawings, which I think this is about when we'll see the backstory of Manny. I believe so. But yeah, 80 minutes went by quick, and there's not a lot of fat in the story. It has enough time to establish who the characters are, set up the situation, and showcase a bit of an adventure. Without idea having 14 or 7 characters go back and forth, back and forth. So it doesn't feel as centered and doesn't feel as focused. Like this easily feels like the most focused of all the films. And another reason why I do think this is the best one. And in this one, I mean, the others try to have some heart to it, but this one I felt the most heart within it. Because this one, like, it felt like this one, they wanted to make this story. The sequels, they wanted to make money. Again, 2 and 3 I could deal with. Here is a story just finding a way to release. The others were releases trying to find a story. But yeah, this I thought, I like the way this is animated. You have his mate and his calf, his kid. That hug, kind of like what the little kid gave to him. And like an interesting way to showcase. Because it could have shown actual flashbacks and Manny seeing this, but this showcases the flashback yet done in a very unique way, a different art style. We get the understanding the idea. There's his family trapped. Here's the family killed, and he saw it. And he's reminded of it. Which is why he's in this headspace of, I don't care to die. I think Diego understands it. He kind of gets the gist of it. That reminds him of his kid. And here's another kid he's got to protect. There's the kid he could not protect. Now here's the kid he could protect. And how this just reminds him of his own kid. Like right there, that perfectly... It may be on the nose, but I think in this case it works. I like the eyes glistening too. So now he's going to be even more determined to get this kid home. But yeah, you didn't need a lot of dialogue. The music was nicely done. I like the different type of animation on the cave paintings. And you see Diego there. You see his eyes glistening too. And he kind of understood. He understood what was going on. He kind of was able to figure out, okay, this guy had a family. This guy's family was killed. That's why he acts the way he acts. Sid, I don't know if he was able to figure it out, but Diego, and that also helps lead to Diego change his mind later and not wanting to fuck over the others, so to speak. Again, it's still interesting to me that they just forgot that humans exist or just willfully ignore it. Again, that's why I wonder if that's something they're going to try to put into the new one and this kid growing up. Because you would have to think this new one will be the last one. You would think. But, I mean, I'm sure they felt the... I mean, is there enough story to be told? I mean, the last couple felt like no. Sorry about those noises. It's just try to clear out some. I had to clean some stuff earlier, so getting some dust out of my lungs. Oh yeah, doesn't he have to put like his claws? For some reason, I remember that, like his claws dug into. Yeah. How lucky is that to fall away almost to your death, and thankfully the steam pocket just blows him back up. Pretty convenient, but it is a movie. It is escapism. Once again, to further establish as to why Diego changes sides. So it doesn't come out of the blue, doesn't come out of the woodwork. He feels sorry for them emotionally. He's being saved physically. I know I'm pointing that out, and it's obvious, but there's a lot of films that don't do that shit. Believe it or not, but they don't properly go from A to B as they should, or they barely do it, or they don't do it enough, or they don't do it well enough. Yeah, this guy ain't playing. Definitely a lucky break for them. Makes me think of the Tom Hanks, I have created fire. Trying to think of, this is a cute moment. The thing learning, the little kid learning to walk. Doesn't he go towards Diego? Imagine I'm the reason I was silent is because I'm picturing like that original idea, that original ending where Diego died. I wonder if they stuck to their guns and they kept with that, how that would have played out. I mean, I definitely. I mean, I would assume the film would still be a hit. There still would have been sequels. I would assume that, but I mean, there'd definitely be people upset. There'd probably be people saying I was traumatized. But it would have been ballsy. I will say it would have been ballsy if they kept that. I mean, I'm fine that they did because I like the character and all, but definitely would have been interesting. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, they probably made the right decision, especially for financially. Just maybe there'd be some parents who hear it, they go, "Well, I can't take my kids to say that, see that," or they do see it and their kids are crying, and they're upset, or something of that nature. So they don't want to deal with that headache, and that, well, maybe I won't take my kid to see the second one because they don't want the kids to cry again, or I don't know. Who knows? This is dilemma. This is his choice. What's he going to choose? He's had a bonding moment with the kid. He got saved by Manny. Had a little bonding moment with Sid. Nudie on the head. And well, to be fair, Manny, I mean, the fact that he's telling you in the first place shows at least something to that nature, or something. Otherwise, he wouldn't have told you at all. I mean, yeah, give the try give the try give the guy credit for something. Damn, we're already at 18 minutes left. Went by quick. Because I mean, we still have the end credits, which are about, I don't know, 3 minutes or so, give or take. I don't know how long. I mean, so We pretty much have the final battle here, and then the kind of the epilogue. Yeah, he just knew how to play him like a fiddle. Don't blame me. He's the one who went out first. So yeah, that showed his why he was shuffling about, walking in the snow at first. I wondered how the hell he learned how to ski in the first place. Now we got a bit of snowboarding here. This is when there was a lot of these kind of movies dealing with extreme sports. So like Triple X with Vin Diesel was in the same year, and he was snowboarding down the mountain when there was an avalanche. You saw a lot more skateboarding, like TV. You have Viva La Bam, skateboarding on Jackass, the TV show, and in the movie that came out, Viva La Bam Margera and them doing a lot more skateboarding. Even Harold Colbert Go to White Castle was 2004. You had those bad guys. It's the extreme. It's just a fucking Mountain Dew. Those extreme guys who were after Harold and Kumar in the first movie. So you had a lot of that being incorporated in the stuff. Is there a way would you have snowboarding or skateboarding or something to that nature? You don't really see a whole lot of that nowadays. I can't remember the last movie that incorporated skateboarding. Maybe there's a little bit of Mutant Mayhem, the Ninja Turtle movie, maybe. Although I vaguely remember it. Just because it was incorporated with some of the Turtle stuff in the past, like the first 1990 movie, but I don't know. It's not a lot of other movies that showcase skateboarding or snow or any of that stuff. There you go. I like this, him taking a moral stand, him wanting to pay back the good deed Manny had. So in this case, protecting him. So you have this fight going back and forth. Ooh, right on the head. So I'm assuming if that's when he was supposed to die, when he got bonked on the head there. Or, no, here. Okay, that would have been it. It's been a while since I've seen it, him taking the hit here. Because Manny saved him, so now he saved Manny. So they're even on that, and makes him more pissed. Ooh. Obviously, they could not show that because of the rating, but you got the idea enough, and now go the fuck back on your merry way. So this would have been when he died. I don't know why now I'm thinking of the music from Lethal Weapon 2. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. There you go. Like you could re-edit it and put that music in and cut out that he came back. Ooh, ooh, boo, doo, doo, doo. It would have been very effective emotionally, I will say. Some people say Toy Story 3 is very emotional for them. Hell, this would have been I mean, it would have been. I do think if it ended that way and you only had this one film, this probably. I mean, this is looked on finally as is, but this would probably be looked at as more of a higher level of animated film. Maybe I'm putting too much into that. Just this each sequel, diminishing returns. So when people think of the franchise, they think of maybe some of the terrible, especially those later sequels. But I'm glad that it ends the way it does. I'm just saying that it would be interesting to see what the full reaction would have been in like an alternate universe. Peeked my head in 2002. They released it that version and go, okay, so this was the reaction. This is the reception. Go 10 years later and see did they make more sequels? Like, if so, what did they do? I'm always curious about the what ifs. The what ifs are always interesting to me. The movies that weren't made, among other stuff. There you go, jumping ahead. Jumping to conclusions. I like Sid's reaction. Be fucked up. It was like, you killed my wife, didn't you? I bet you did. Fucking spear him. Spear Manny, spear Sid. Dead. They cook him and eat him for dinner. Ends on a campfire eating the bodies of our lead characters. That'd be really fucked up. Maybe that'd be another universe where they did that. So this was nice. Again, another film would have just had they give the baby up and bye bye, and then they just go separate. But this stuff is nice to have. They give that sense of I don't know, a bit of closure, everything, something more about that. I have to look into if this necklace is in the other sequels. If so, where is it? See if they kept that motif. Now, how did I mean? I thought the kid did that because he saw the tiger, but he wasn't over the ledge yet. So what? He have psychic powers? He knew, sense that he was coming over the hill, because he did this, and then Diego went over. But it seemed like he did this because Diego did that first to him earlier in the film. But again, like, he just went over after after he did. I don't know. Maybe he saw a glimpse in the distance or something. So yeah, I mean, they probably just added that bit there, and then they add this scene here, and nice simple ending. Go off their merry way, the three of them. And of course, we know what happens to them next, but still. The thing is that in the later films, there are times where they don't really have much interaction with each other. Like Diego had like barely shit to do in the fifth movie, the last movie. And it's like, you know. So again, I guess they added this as well because audiences liked what they saw, so they added this addendum. Since we had something like this at the beginning, let's add a little bit of piece here at the end. I mean, it's extensive, you know. I mean, that's why probably in test screenings, you know, they have, you know, rough looking animation. Does it need to change things? Then they're able to do it instead of putting all that time to finesse it, fine tune it, and then cut it out anyway. What did you do? You did it again. You did it again. And there you go. Hour and 15 minutes. An hour and 15 minutes. See, it's just straightforward, no fat in it. Kind of very direct, very in and out. Doesn't need stuff, slapstick of bits and pieces that go on forever and don't really connect to the story or aren't entertaining to begin with. And with that short amount of time, it's fine because you only have three, well, I guess if you want to talk with the little kid, four characters that go back and forth, and you could do that and still make it feel as if they have enough screen time to not make it feel a character was wasted. The animation, I think, for 2002 still looks nice. The cast do a good job voicing them. Ray Romano, John Leguizamo, Dennis Leary in particular. Cedric the Entertainer and Stephen Root, who was bad. Someone stole his stapler in Office Space. Of course, Cedric the Entertainer, he's done a lot of stuff. That awful Honeymooners movie reboot that they did around this time, actually. Then I saw Diedrich Bader and I think Alan Tudyk. Alan Tudyk, he would be one of the two leads in Tucker and Dale versus Evil. He was on Firefly and the movie Serenity. And then Diedrich Bader, I mean, he was on the Drew Carey Show. He was also in Office Space. He was the lead guy's neighbor, like to sit on the couch, drink beer. I think he was a guy trying to train people in martial arts and Napoleon Dynamite. You definitely see Diedrich Bader and other stuff. So, the jokes were, there's still moments that made me laugh that I thought were funny. The characters, defined well enough. Doesn't feel go off on random tangents. I forget what was it. The fourth of which one it was where Sid like went over here and then these other sloths thought he was a god, but then they're there to sacrifice him, and then this overcomplicated way where he escapes, and the only part of the story that leads back to that is the very end when they all show up, and the other's like, "What the hell? Oh, he wasn't making it up." That felt, it didn't feel needed, at least to me. I forget which one that was in. And again, this fella had the most heart to it. Manny, we find his backstory, what happened to his family, him bonding with his little kid. Diego felt like an actual character in this. Changing of his guard, changing of his point of view, and then ultimately siding with these guys, and it made sense. They saved me physically, they bonded with me, they cared, so it didn't feel out of place. Diego had his moments where he tried to do the right thing and he took the hit. Manny got to showcase his bit of badass, and then Sid was there to protect the kids, so each one had their spot to fill, and it didn't feel like anyone was useless. This is a good one. I easily think this is the best Ice Age film. It's still a really solid flick. I think I saw this on DVD the first time when I worked, I want to say when I worked at the video store. Just 2002, I did not see this in the theater. I didn't really get to go to a theater in 2002. It wasn't until 2003, 2004, that era where I got to go to a theater a lot. There was a place I could rent movies, but I just don't think I would have rented Ice Age or other kids' films. Because I can't remember the first time. There's so many movies, I can't remember the first time I saw, except specific ones, on how I saw them the first time. But my best guess would be when I worked at the video store, started in 2006, 2007, and then because I worked there, I could rent the movies for free. So hey, I have the weekend off. You can rent like 7 at a time. Rent 7 movies for free. Check them out. Watch them, and then by the time when I go back to work, just check them in, put them back up, and continue on. So, and I liked it ever since. And the second one's okay. Third one was better than the second one in my opinion. Fourth and fifth I thought were pretty awful. But and of course Sid made an appearance in Alien Earth for some reason. Well, they explain it's just the kids. 100 years from now, people will be watching Ice Age 4, because I think that's what it was, 4. Okay, not the first one. I don't see anyone watching Ice Age 100 years from now, let alone Ice Age 4, but that's just me. But that's when they were little kids. Okay, 80 years from now. Whatever the fuck you want to call it, dude. Anyway. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care, everyone. Thanks once again, Lucas. And we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.